Hello and welcome to the FSF PopCast Live Edition. Sorry, bopping my head to the music. Don't mind me.
I don't know. I almost started the show with us all going, ah!
It could happen. All right, guys, welcome to the FSF PopCast Live Edition, the show that proved X-Men Origins Wolverine may have been onto something. They just sewed up the wrong mouths.
Mouths?
Mouths. In other words, our mouths instead of,
Oh, our mouths.
It's not as much fun if I got to explain it, Nick.
But, you should be used to having to explain the jokes to Nick by now.
I am, but that's not the point.
I saw that show before it even, hit the actual theaters. So, I saw the pre-rendered animations.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, there was a lot of leaks going on with that movie because there was, Deadpool supposed to be in it, and then we all cried because, what they did.
Yeah.
And now I'm sad.
Yeah. That was a different universe. So. But before we get into tonight's show, we need to say thanks to our show partners, Level Up Sabers.
I think I'm going to give you a new nickname. We're going to call you Transition Man. Transition Man strikes again.
All right. Roll that beautiful nerd footage.
There we go.
And you guys see it on the screen. You know it. You have been here. We've done this. We've gone over it. Click. Buy lightsabers. Do the things. There you go.
I meant to have this turned on when we came back out of the video, and then I forgot and got all excited about it again. And anyway, buy a Level Up Saber. They're cool. And they're fun. Anyway, use the link. Buy a saber. Because buying a saber helps us. You get something cool. We get a commission for you buying something, and it helps offset our monthly expenses. If you're not looking for a saber, we have other ways that you can help us. That, of course, is by buying us a coffee. We really appreciate it if you do, because we like coffee. Coffee's fun. But again, it does help us with the offset of the bills and the things. And of course, if you are watching, want to remind you to, we're going to hide that because that says all the wrong things in it. I didn't check it before the show. It's a Monday. It's on there for a second. If you're watching us on YouTube, please click the like and subscribe button. That's a big help to us as well. And I also had my headphones up a little too loud. I was very much awake after that first. So
it was when my desk was shaking. It scared me, John. I'm sorry.
So yeah,
I wasn't up loud from our last interview because somebody's mic was low and I couldn't hear things, and then I forgot to turn it back down.
So we definitely have that going for us. I think only mostly deaf in my left ear right now, but we'll be okay.
I've regained bladder control. It's all good, guys.
All right, we got a couple quick thank you videos we want to play for some podcasts that we've been doing some work with as of late. Good friends of the show. So first, let's look at a really cool group called Open Pike Night.
You know what pairs great with the podcast you're listening to right now? Another podcast. Hi, I'm Jesse from Open Pike Night, the Star Trek Strange New Worlds podcast where your personal logs are the prime directive.
Hey, Open Pike Night.
Hi, it's Peter again.
Hi, Open Pike Night. This is Mariah calling from Seattle.
You guide our discussion episode by episode during the season. And after that...
This is Melissa Navia.
This is Henry Alonzo Myers.
This is Akela Cooper.
This is Bruce Horak.
Ask your questions directly to the people who make the show.
Wow, great questions. It was Michelle and Mariah, is that right? Well, I'll tell you my experience is that...
Check us out at openpike.com or use the podcast app you're listening to right now to find that subscribe button.
Hey guys, if we pull this off, it's officially the Open Pike Maneuver.
And hit it.
You are listening to Open Pike Night,
the official podcast of Sam Kirk's Mustache.
Which is why it feels like your brain is being squeezed through your nose.
John, it is better. We'll just leave it at that. Okay, moving on. And now for our good friends over at Science Fiction Remnant.
Hello again, me popsicles, and welcome to Season 2 of Science Fiction Remnant.
Go ahead and grab your multipass, a drink, and sit back with us and geek out about sci-fi.
Let's pick each other's brain. We want you to be part of our intimate conversation about science fiction topics.
And hang around to the end of the episodes for the real-world science that was inspired by your favorite science fiction.
Let's do this. Let's talk about science fiction topics in books, movies, TV shows, and games.
At Science Fiction Remnant, you are invited to listen in.
Listen now on Apple Podcasts,
Spotify, Anchor,
Audible, Goodpods,
or whatever you listen to podcasts.
You can catch the video pods on our YouTube a month later.
And don't forget your multipass, you me popsicles.
Fiction Remnant is brought to you by the hashtag This Is Sci-Fi. No Capone cuties were harmed in the making of this commercial. Ba 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 ba.
All right, so that's Open Pike Night and Science Fiction Remnant. So we started something this past week on Wednesdays. We doing what's called the crossover connection. We're working with a lot of other podcasts. We're airing their episodes on our audio podcast channels, and Science Fiction Remnant was our first episode with that this past Wednesday. So go check them out, not only on their audio podcast channels, of course, but they also have a YouTube channel. Both of those guys do. So go give them a subscription. They're a lot of fun and really cool shows to be involved with. I think at this time we probably need to just keep, trucking on and get our people in here before they fall asleep in the back room.
Transition man, help us.
Hey, transition man, can you give us some assistance?
Transitioning. Let's welcome our guests tonight, Zack and Dylan from Some Nobodies. Who are somebodies?
Hello.
What's up, nerds?
Hey, how are you guys?
Dandy, thank you so much for joining us tonight and being patient in the back room as we got everything ready and moving along here.
No, thanks for having us. Those videos were cool, so it was fun. It's some pretty catchy music.
I think the last time we talked, we blew Zach's mind and not asking him why he is creative.
Yeah, that was 90 episodes ago. Episode 26 is with Some Nobodies.
Yeah.
I was looking back at that today and looking over all the things that we talk about. So Zach, if you would like a chance to redeem yourself and your brain, what inspires you to be creative?
No, honestly, my brain just healed from that, so I'd rather not get back into that.
I understand it taking 90 episodes to get from us.
It really knocked me in my seat, and I'm not used to that.
Well, okay, we completely understand. So, hey, before we get into our topic for tonight and anything nerdy that happens from this point forward, take a few minutes and tell everybody about Some Nobodies and where they can find you guys and all the stuff that you guys do, because you guys have your fingers in a lot of different pies. So,
well, we have a lot of fingers in one pie. I'll say that. But I'll let Dylan speak for a second, if that's okay.
Sure,
absolutely. He's the brain behind most of it. Anyway.
Okay, so Some Nobodies. Zach and I. We rope in a few other people for a bunch of different shows. Sometimes those are voice actors. You can hear them on things like Silicon Angels, a podcast show, CYOP Appeal. Some other stuff that's coming on down. Sometimes we rope people in for more improv comedy stuff, like No Time to Binge or PowerPoint Showdown. I think that's primarily what we've been doing.
Well, that is the better half of what we're trying to promote right now. So you nailed it. You nailed the better half.
Okay, cool. So that's what Some Nobodies does. We do stuff, and you should listen to that stuff when you have the time or don't have the time anyway.
True.
That's how I feel when people are like, so tell me about your show. You should listen to the stuff.
Yeah, just listen to it.
We do the things and talk about the stuff on the channel over here. So
yeah, and it's hard for us to answer that question because like people, we meet people and we're like, hey, we make stuff, and they go, well, what's your show about? And it's like, okay.
Yes.
One of them is about sex robots and the IT phone call. One of them is about reviewing podcasts that are terrible. One of the and we have to like ramble off. And by that time, the Uber driver is just dropping us off in the wrong spot. So,
but also listening to the podcast. So
that is true.
That has happened.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Has the FSF PopCast made it to the podcasts that are terrible yet?
No.
Oh.
Second, season 2 initial episode. Yes, I think that was us. And here's why these guys suck.
It happens.
Listen to this jackwagon pontificate about stupid things. Anyway,
and it's just episodes of Tim.
Yeah, pretty much. just Tim sitting there, just being Tim. That's all it is.
Ray Skywalker, 5 at 5.
Exactly. That's all it takes. All right. Well, hey, we all that aside, we are so glad to have and happy to have you guys here. The last time you guys were on the show, we had a lot of fun with you guys. It was a very engaging conversation. And if you guys, anybody listening, is interested in checking that out, please go check out episode 26 of the FSF PopCast, formerly known as the Funny Science Fiction Podcast, and you can go find that. And really cool conversation there with Zack and Dylan about all the things that they do and the things that they don't do, and some of the things I think that they were thinking about doing. So anyway, there's some stuff in there. It's a really cool episode. Strongly suggest you guys go find it. But for tonight, we have something we're going to try out. It's a new thing. We're calling it Character Drop. And so,
okay,
what's that?
Not Mad Libs.
Dear God, no, never Mad Libs again.
I just like to bring it up every once in a while.
That is a painful memory. I feel so bad for our guests that we had on because it wasn't their fault. I was just like, and this Mad Lib sucks because it's all adverbs. Okay.
If you'd like to podcast that sucks to talk about on podcasts that suck, find that one.
Find that episode. Right. That was painful. And again, it had nothing to do with our guests. Our guests were fantastic.
No, it was 100% the hosts.
They were soldiering on. They were doing the best they could with the crap sandwich that was handed to them. And it's one of those you look back and you go, yeah, we don't ever have to do that again. Like ever. The concept, the thought of it, we thought, man, this is gonna go like gangbusters. It's gonna be wildfire. We're gonna have so much fun with this. And then we got into it and it was like,
This
can
is
I fit any more
dead air?
This is dead air, and that feels like bamboo shoots under my fingernails. Let's never do that again. So anyway,
we have a couple full shows that are like that that we just never released. So I can sympathize.
Crystal's unfortunately alive.
Exactly, it was a live show. It was already out there for consumption. We're like, well, screw it.
All right,
too late now.
All right, for tonight, we're going to try this new thing. We're calling it Character Drop, where we take a character from one area and drop him into another, somewhere where he doesn't belong or that character doesn't belong, he, she, whatever. So tonight, we asked you guys to pick sitcom characters and drop them into another area where they don't belong, like a sci-fi or fantasy or superhero genre, something where, that character, and then kind of explain to us, maybe why you picked that character and how it affects everything else kind of going on around it. So, since this was my brainchild, I'll go first. And then if it sucks, we can just change topics. So,
okay, but you have to at least let me go second.
I had you going first and you chickened out and went last, you pansy.
That's because I was still kind of finishing it up because I actually have almost an episode of.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, I don't have that much. All right. So here's my character that I want to drop in. I want to take Andy Dwyer from Parks and Rec, played by Chris Pratt. And I'm going to drop him into the superhero universe of Guardians of the Galaxy, which is also acted by Chris Pratt.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I want that is because I envision some wonderful Pratt on Pratt madness.
All of
Okay.
That's the Lego Movie Part 2.
Plenty of pratfalls.
Well, yeah, it is, but this is a continuation of that. It continue. Well, actually, I didn't.
And
Would it
then
also be
somehow you
called
end
the
up with
Pratt Man?
dinosaurs, and then you have 3 Pratts.
I didn't even think about the Lego Movie Part 2. Now I feel like I'm stealing somebody else's idea. This is awesome. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep going with it anyway because I've gone this far and we're pushing forward. So, because what I was thinking about was, how like when Thor gets introduced to Chris Pratt at first, Star-Lord, and Star-Lord starts mimicking Thor, and they're, I'm a man and all this talk, he changes his whole voice and everything. And I just envision Andy Dwyer doing that back and forth with, and then I envision them like getting into arguments about why they look so much alike. And, is Ego his father as well? And, all these different things. And, and so, and in my mind, there's opportunities for Andy Dwyer to go out dressed up as Star-Lord, when Star-Lord wants to just like, sit back and kick back and have a cocktail or something. And for me, it was just a whole lot of opportunity to have those two characters, Andy Dwyer and Star-Lord, on the screen at the same time, and have the rest of the characters completely annoyed with Andy Dwyer. Because I could just see Gamora wanting to cut his head off within like 30 seconds of meeting him, because he's ostensibly just unintelligent and, yeah. So anyway,
but
and then I wanted to see like Mouse Rat in space, basically.
But are we also going to allow Andy Dwyer to go Burt Macklin? Because Burt Macklin.
He has to at points, obviously. Has to. He has to be Burt Macklin because that's Burt. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Right.
So
true.
So anyway, that was my original thought, which was apparently unoriginal, and
it was original-ish.
Ish. Yeah.
It was originally plagiarized.
Yeah.
Unintentionally originally plagiarized.
I don't think anyone has stolen it before you, so we can say
there
that.
You go.
Boom! I'm the original. I'm the original thief. I'll go with that. I can live with that.
All right.
How bad do you suck? You're the second thief? Haha! I was first. So
you're not as creative as me.
That's right. So yeah, and then him having no superpowers or anything else along those lines, but the only like superpower he has is to like be stupid and stupidly like fall through things and make, accidentally make good things out of his stupidity, which is what Andy does in Parks and Rec too. He gets himself into trouble somehow, comes out smelling like roses.
So you want to see like a buff Star-Lord talk to a chunky Star-Lord?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm into that. Yeah.
John says I want to see April and Gamora talk about Andy and Star-Lord.
That'd be great.
That could be entertaining.
Yeah.
That could be entertaining. Yeah, original-esque. Ish. I prefer ish. Ish is more my speed.
Original, adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I thought I had this great idea, and now I'm.
No, it's a great idea. It's way better than my idea, and I don't think I stole mine.
Well, you beat Nick to the transition, so go ahead, Zach.
All right. So, when challenged with this, I thought about who the sitcom characters were that I like the most, what they bring to that world, and then what they could bring to the new world. So, I think to me, what I would like to see the best is Job Bluth from Arrested Development, probably the greatest sitcom of all time, in with the Doctor Strange universe. Because I would like to see Job attempt magic, learning that it actually isn't illusions, Michael, and that he should be doing it and probably still can't. And I think to me that's hilarious. And being that the Russo brothers helped create Arrested Development and 2/3 of the best Marvel movies, we could have them, do this, so that way the timing is perfect.
That is fantastic.
Illusions, Michael.
I absolutely love that idea. That is fantastic. Yeah, as soon as you said Jove, I was like, you have my attention. That is, yeah. Will Arnett plays that so wonderfully, and yeah. Now my head is just spinning about all the different things that Job would get himself into, and trying to prove that he was a real magician up against Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
and yeah.
Learning
Actually, I'd like to.
Learning one spell, pushing Tony Wonder somewhere in like Nepal, trying to still do the fireball thing, losing his sling ring. But where did the lighter fluid come from? It all works.
I want to see like him and Wong in a magic off, an illusion off.
Yeah, because they're both dancing queens, and I would love to see all of that.
Yeah, that would just be phenomenal. That is actually very well chosen.
Like the guy in the sassy cape is going to teach the man in the $3,600 suit how to do magic.
Come on.
But his cape flies. It does the things.
Buzz.
Oh,
that show's too good. So
Wong's not on board.
Oh yeah, I would pay money to watch that, Zach. Honestly.
Yeah, I'm writing it today, which is fine.
Nice. Yeah, very cool. All right, Kathleen, what are thou's picks?
Oh, goodness. So my top pick, because I have a couple of different options, because I didn't know how this was going to go tonight, is I would like to take the late Bob Saget's character, Danny Tanner, and put him on the crew of the Serenity. And have him with his 90s era little hand vacuum cleaning up behind Jane.
All right.
That's crazy.
He and Simon would get along so well.
That's true.
But he would be so constantly irritated by Jane and Malcolm. And I feel like Malcolm Reynolds is like the type of person who would constantly have chocolate chip cookies and there would always be crumbs places. And I feel like Danny would be like trying so hard to keep Serenity clean, and then Kaylee would come up from fixing something and be greasy, and his germophobia would just flip out, and he'd have to go like obsessively clean the entire ship again.
No, I love it.
I think it would be fantastic.
And somehow Kimmy would still just show up at like the space
right?
station.
Right? She would just like, hello, Tannerinos, and yeah. It would be great. Oh, and then sorry, but with Kimmy. And Kimmy's horribly stinky feet. Can you imagine that on a spaceship where you're then trapped with it?
And Jane probably loves that.
Oh, what if Jane and Kimmy became a thing?
He'd be like, I'll be in my bunk.
I can just like, it was the imagining Danny like trying to obsessively clean the ship and trying to keep it clean, and it's never going to be as clean as he needs it to be. In circles made me laugh.
I like that.
I feel like Wash would just be super annoyed by him, though. But, like, sarcastically annoyed.
Stop moving my dinosaurs.
Right? My stuff! Don't touch it!
Oh, rest in peace, Wash.
Here's a leaf on the wind.
Mm-hmm. It's one way to wash your spear.
Oh, too soon!
Rude, Nick.
Spoilers. If no one has seen it.
Yeah, it's too late for spoilers. That's been out for too long.
20-year-old movie.
Right?
Yeah.
If it's more than 72 hours, it doesn't count.
Although I kind of want to see like that with Bob Saget's character as Danny Tanner, of course, but have him have one massive freak out like in Dumb and Dumberer, the episode with the chocolate all over the walls.
Uh-huh.
And just like he's tried to clean up everything and he just goes ballistic like that. There's like a 30-second clip of him just screaming his head off because it looked like, they crapped all over the walls.
Yes.
It's all over the walls. It's all over it's on the towels. It's on the shower curtain. Yeah, it's fantastic. That is one of my all-time favorite clips. I hated that movie for the most part, but I loved that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible movie.
Yeah.
It's horrible, but that scene is like, you totally redeemed yourself right there. So yeah, that definitely has merit. I can see that.
Yeah. So that was
all right. I like that. that's pretty.
I have others, but that was my top one.
Yeah, I had one other one just in case I didn't think mine was funny last minute. So I'm curious what your other one would be later.
We'll go into it.
Yeah.
We'll get through everybody's first one. If you have a second one, we'll come back around to them. All right, Dylan, what you got, bud?
So I had to think about what kind of sitcoms I knew off the top of my head when I had this pitch. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Probably the most popular one that people can name immediately is The Office. Sure. A lot of characters, a lot of stuff, a lot of comedy. And I'm like, I want a little bit of symmetry in my decisions. So I'm like, what kind of workplace sci-fi stuff do we have? So I thought and I had two options, but my one that I thought was best was take Dwight Schrute and put him in Severance. Now, the question that we're facing here is, do you think that Dwight would undergo severance? Or
no way.
Is he a manager? Or is he one of those
assistant to the manager?
Assistant to the manager. Or does he undergo severance and then do it as like a personal challenge where he's like, I heard about this concept and I really wanted to test my ability to pass messages to myself. And I thought, who's a better match for myself than myself? And you have the outside work version of Dwight and the inside work version of Dwight maybe trying to ruin each other's lives as like a test of his own personal ability. And he's like, I made myself a promise 3 years later I'd get unsevered and figure out which one of me was the victor. And of course it would be me. And then you have the talking heads and they would do a split screen. So they're saying exactly the same stuff about each other.
Yeah. I like that a lot because at first you're like, well, Dwight would try it at least once because he would think that his brain is too strong for it to happen. But then if it did happen, I could totally see him checking somebody's numbers when he goes to work the next day and be like, whoa, somebody matched my numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to beat himself, who's just him. I love that.
My second thought was Michael Scott, but then it immediately was like, oh, no, of course he would love it.
Yeah.
He would absolutely love it. Like, what do you mean? I don't have to leave work at all. I got nothing waiting outside for me.
Yeah, I think Dwight's better. For me, but this ain't my show.
I like
We're
it.
on it. It's our show.
He's not wrong.
That's usually how it works.
I just want to Stanley.
Here, feel free to take over.
Like, I just want to put Stanley in random sci-fi and see if anybody even notices.
Well, they did that. It was called Marvel Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3.
If Stanley even notices, he's just sitting at his desk with his crossword puzzles.
He doesn't even care. He notices, but just does not care because he's probably getting time and a half now.
Right? Clock hits 5 o'clock. He's gone.
That's funny.
You think S.H.I.E.L.D. pays time and a half if they have to deal with like a cataclysm, like a super invoked cataclysm? Is that overtime?
Danger.
No,
pay?
I think it's understood in the initial contract that it's all hazard pay.
Yeah, you're not getting any
salary.
Well, the weirdest part is they pay federal minimum, which is really strange.
It is upsetting, but bonuses are pretty good around Christmas.
Yeah, that's true.
And I just realized something, Kathleen. You said Stanley. I thought you said Stan Lee, as in like Stan Lee, and that's why I was like, he's already in cameos, and
that's
phase 1.
Yeah, I definitely didn't want to call out that I did not understand that joke whatsoever. But once again, this ain't my show.
We just replace all of Stan Lee's cameos with Stanley.
Yeah.
I mean, I know somebody has said, I saw online, somebody wanted, Wade Wilson wanted Deadpool to do all of Stanley's cameos now.
No.
Because with his fourth wall breaks, he's the only one that actually knows that Stanley is dead, which is really, really sad. But I feel like if you just threw Stanley from The Office in instead of Stan Lee, that could be really funny.
Yeah, I agree. Because everyone's like, why is Stanley here?
Right? We expected Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I
And
love
then
it.
then you said something about his crosswords, and I'm like, I don't remember Stanley ever doing anything with the crossword.
That's what him and the Watchers did up there.
Yeah, it was a super power ego.
Again, it's Monday, and this brain is not completely plugged in, so I was not tracking at all. About 5 minutes late on the uptake, so sorry about that.
Look at you being the blonde on the show.
Oof. I am full on into that today at the moment, so got that going for me. All right, Dylan, I like your choice, even if I may have butchered things at the end with the dissenting conversation. All right, so Nick.
So I may have taken this a little further than I should have.
You never.
So I chose Kramer on an episode of Star Trek, the original series. And one thing led to another, and I kind of have a playthrough. So the camera opens on a shot of the USS Enterprise as it travels through space at warp speed. We hear the voice of Captain Kirk over the intercom addressing the crew. Attention, all crew members. We are approaching the planet Risa, known for its beautiful beaches and exotic culture. Suddenly, a strange energy field envelops the ship and it is thrown out of warp. The ship shakes violently as the crew struggles to regain control. As the ship stabilizes, the crew discovers that an unknown spacecraft had been pulled aboard the Enterprise. The doors open, revealing Kramer, dressed in his signature denim jacket and baseball cap, standing in the doorway, looking confused and disoriented. Hey, where am I? Spock sternly says, who are you and what is your business aboard this ship? My business? I don't know how I got here. I was walking down the street, and next thing I know, bam, I'm on some spaceship. Captain Kirk, who are you? Oh, Cosmo Kramer, who are you? Mr. Kramer, I am Captain James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. It is still my duty to ensure the safety of my crew and my ship. We need to know where you came from and what your intentions are. I told you! I don't know how I got here. I'm just a guy from New York. Spock, analyzing, fascinating. His appearance and behavior are consistent with someone who has been transported through a spatial anomaly. As the crew investigate Kramer's claims, they discover that a mysterious alien artifact is the cause of his sudden appearance on the Enterprise. The ship's science officer, Lieutenant Uhura, is able to determine that the artifact is a device used for time travel. As the crew attempts to send Kramer back to his own time, they are interrupted by an alien attack from a hostile alien race. The ship is badly damaged, and the crew is captured, leaving Kramer as the only one able to save the day. Kramer, using his knowledge of everyday human inventions, is able to improvise a way onto the alien ship and find the crew. Mr. Kramer, how did you get here? Said Spock. Kramer, no idea, pointy ears. I was just pushing some buttons like a kid in a candy store. Next thing I know, wham, I'm here. It's a pretty wild place. That is illogical. Captain Kirk, I appreciate your willingness to help Mr. Kramer, but I must remind you that this is not a situation to be taken lightly. As captain, it is my responsibility to make the final decision on all matters concerning the safety of the crew. Then as the crew regains control of the Enterprise, Kramer comes up with a plan to defeat the alien ship using a diversion using a hot dog cart. Did you want more? There's more.
I don't think any of us realized you had a full script, but
I feel underdressed.
Yeah, me too.
Right?
I'm over here plagiarizing and stealing things, and he's like, "Hold up, I'm going to write an original script."
Overachiever. At least he did his homework this time.
But why was it Kramer? Because there's got to be some nasty twist to this, right? Because you don't just pull Kramer for no reason without him looking at like Worf and going, oh, and then cut to black.
Because he's always like the one that is getting into weird situations.
Okay.
So out of anyone, he would be the one that would just suddenly walk into a wormhole, and the script goes on him selling hot dogs to the aliens, and then like the plan works, and then he's back at the restaurant talking to Jerry.
So he just like got into an elevator and ended up on a spaceship.
Pretty much.
That's cool.
I do think that that there could be some fun play between Spock and Kramer because the logical versus the illogical. So I could see that being entertaining. And how long would it take for Spock to, like, you know, do like the Vulcan, you know, pinch on the shoulder just to knock him out?
Not very long.
Oh.
So
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I just,
For the rest of the script,
I wish I'd have written a
subscribe to our
script.
Patreon.
I wish I wouldn't have stolen somebody else's idea and then wrote a script, but hey, you know, whatever. So
If you want to hear the full script as narrated by Nick, subscribe to our Patreon.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen. That's gonna be a thing.
And
Full on impressions and everything. Just, you know, it's the Nick Stockbridge one man show. Just boom.
And don't
Hey,
forget,
people do that with audiobooks all the time.
No,
but please don't forget that if you want to see Nick and Tim have to do putting on the Ritz, please.
Oh yeah, that's a
subscribe to our
thing
channel.
that I've been suckered into. So we're only a couple hundred subscribers away from getting to 1,000. When we hit 1,000, Nick volunteered us for recreating Putting on the Ritz from
I volunteered
Young
myself,
Frankenstein.
and then Kathleen volunteered you. So
Yeah, that's probably more accurate. That sounds right. But
it's a real promise, huh?
But they will be doing it with lightsabers instead
of canes. We're going to use lightsabers. So, and once we get around to the 1,000 subscriber mark, we're also going to do we haven't talked about this yet, but I'll squeak it out now. We're going to do a lightsaber giveaway from Level Up Sabers. So to also tie in towards 1,000. So the closer we get, we'll give you guys more information and details for that. Now, some of you said you had duplicates,
we do.
Secondaries, well, not duplicates, secondary offerings. So who'd like to go first with their secondary offering?
Let Zach go first. He's the guest. Zach
Sure.
can say another option.
All right.
So once again, I was thinking about who characters were in their sitcom and what makes them so special to that world. So I thought there's rare to find a better character that is not on Arrested Development than Ron Swanson. And where would you put him around with a bunch of woodworking and a bunch of just grilled meat eating? And that's the Moon of Endor. Put him with the Ewoks, have him help build their huts, grilling up stormtroopers, testing that meat, curing the proper amount of stuff, wearing a loincloth,
All right.
flipping like a David and Goliath little whatever they're called. What are they called? Slingshots? It's probably a slingshot. But yeah, I think Ron Swanson, because at first I was thinking it'd be good as him as a Wookiee, right? Just being as hairy as them, except for his face, and just teaching them how to eat porgs and porg eggs, if that is a thing. But I think that maybe him as like the head Ewok is pretty funny too. So either one, Ron Swanson in the Star Wars universe, cooking up porg eggs and curing stormtrooper meat.
I just want to see him hold up like a leather cloth that says "I know more than you," or "I do what I want."
Yeah,
that has to happen at some point if he's there.
Just seeing him during the invasion of the Forest Moon, just being like, "Son, I haven't heard of any empire, but I'm no fan of a monarch." Like,
yeah. Do I got to do paperwork? And he's just lathing this huge tree.
That would be great.
Again, another fantastic choice. I like that quite a bit. All right, Kathleen, what was your second one? What was your backup?
So it's kind of a two-part, because I realized that you could pretty much take any sitcom characters and then like throw them onto DS9. Because it's a space station. You could end up with
Right, these people coming and going all the time.
So it kind of became a three-way tie, honestly, between Barney Stinson being on DS9 and listening to Barney Stinson and Garrick argue about tailoring and whether or not his suits fit right.
Okay.
Red Green helping out in engineering on DS9 and Worf being upset about what is this duct tape and why is it here. And then right before the show, I had this funny thought of what if Third Rock from the Sun ended up somehow on DS9?
Whoa.
in their human forms, but still aliens, but now stuck outside of their universe and dealing with other galactic laws.
I love that.
Yeah.
The only way to make
Love
DS9
it.
better would be to put John Lithgow in it.
Right? But then you still have the complex of the big giant head being William Shatner, but also he's Captain Kirk. And it just gets very confusing very quickly. So yeah,
like
I
that.
was realizing that anytime you could throw any sitcom character onto the DS9 crew, it would be so confusing. And like with Barney Stinson, with him arguing with Garrick over the suits, I also just imagine him trying to hit on Kira or Jadzia and getting absolutely demolished by them with the "No, you're stupid. What is wrong with you?" Like, I feel like it would go very badly for Barney. Especially if he was like looking for stormtroopers, because I feel like that would be the level of intelligence you would get from him there.
No, you're not wrong.
But yeah. There were a few options. John and I were talking about it this afternoon.
All right. Somebody suggested Sheldon Cooper. Kind of, where would you put him, dear Facebook user?
Well, if we put him in Star Trek, he's going to be hanging out with Spock.
He's going to be correcting Spock, is what he's going to be doing.
No, you're illogical.
Yeah, pretty much. Where else would you put him?
Rancor pit.
Well,
yeah.
Well, there is that.
Putting him on the Orville would be funny too.
Put him in the Expanse. He'd love that.
But you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. But I wouldn't watch it.
I also thought of because somebody, when you brought up Dwight, Dylan, this made me think of this. I think it'd be kind of interesting to drop Dwight also into Firefly, because he and Jane would go back and forth all episode long, because it would basically be the unintellectual version of Jim. You know, there would be that dichotomy.
Sure. Okay.
There would be that dichotomy there. Everything that, because when Jane goes into doing something, he's so very sure that this is what it has to be and how it has to be. And I can just see, Dwight and him, false. That's not how this works. We're going to do it this way. So just an initial thought. I don't have a whole lot prepared for that just off the top of my head, but I just thought it was kind of interesting. Could be fun. So.
Oh, goodness. I know John had another option, and I was told not to steal it from him, but then he stopped commenting because I think he got distracted by our tiny human. But his was
yes. What did he say? Because the tiny barbarian's taking his time?
Right. So he wanted to take Alf and put him on the Orville, because technically Alf is a sitcom character.
He's not wrong.
He's not. I mean, throw another alien into the Orville, but I feel like that would... Alf and the gelatinous blob guy that I cannot remember what his name is right now.
The gelatinous glob.
There you go.
The cube.
I did once have to write on air live an Alf meets Luke Skywalker fanfic for a show a while ago.
Ooh.
Yeah, he fits in pretty much anywhere you would see like a fuzzy Muppet.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And as we've discovered with Muppets, you can replace any human with a Muppet. So I feel like you could throw a Muppet anywhere.
Pretty much, yeah. John says Alf pretty much anywhere. Star Trek Next Generation. He tries to eat Spot on the Orville. He would hang out with Yaphet. So
I didn't think about him trying to eat Spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally going to happen.
Oh no.
Poor Data.
Data.
What was the cat's name on
Data.
Snarf.
Miss Marvel?
Goose.
Oh yes, he would try to eat Goose and then Goose would eat him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That mother flirker.
Is.
I call that a dramatic reversal.
That's a flirkin. What the flirkin? So.
Goodness.
All right. Cool. Any other ideas on that?
No, that was all I got.
All right, cool.
I didn't have time to write a whole script.
Yeah.
Well, some of us are overprepared tonight, and that's okay.
He's making up for all the times he wasn't prepared.
For all the times he rode in with his rear end on fire because he was sliding into the seat. I'm here.
Nice.
It works. It's okay. So yeah, I don't think that was too horrible. We might actually try that again.
Oh, I like that.
It's fun.
There are lots of different options.
Well, that's the thing, and it's not just all adverbs. So
yeah, I was really trying hard to fit a member of the Golden Girls somewhere, and I just outside of the Star Wars holiday episode, it just didn't seem to work right.
Oh, but can you just imagine though? And I know I'm going back to DS9 again because I feel like it's just super easy to throw people there. But Sophia just sitting at Quark's bar, yelling at Quark.
I do like that.
Picture it.
Yeah.
It's like that would just.
And then Betty White's character just sitting there, telling everybody how that would have happened back at whatever, I can't remember the name of her little town, but you know, well, back in such and such a Podunkville, we would have done it this way, and
Put the dean from Community on the Snowpiercer train.
Oh God! just following Chris Evans around. That's funny.
You could put Dorothy in Stranger Things. And I feel like Dorothy would suddenly become super BA in Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
And she would be right up there with Steve and Nancy with Glocks going after the Demogorgons. Like,
yeah, I would like to see Dorothy in like a Ripley style character.
Mm-hmm.
That would be pretty dope.
So they kind of did with the what was that? It was something. It was with Zoe Deschanel. They did an Oz like.
You talking about like a New Girl or something?
Oh, I meant
no. Like they literally made like a futuristic Oz. Oh, it was called Tin Man.
Yeah.
Well, I meant Dorothy from Golden Girls, not Dorothy from
that's
Kansas.
Dorothy. Got it.
Stanley.
Stan.
So John
Dorothy
also
as
says
Stanley. Yeah.
Put Michael Kelso in as one of the Doctor's companions from that 70s show. Michael Kelso.
What
or you could throw any of the Golden Girls into the TARDIS too.
Burn.
We know how well the Doctor does with people's mothers, so I feel like putting the Golden Girls in with the Doctor would be hilarious too.
And now I because there was Dorothy, the Dorothy conundrum. Now I want to see that Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz fighting in Planet of the Apes against the gorillas.
Well, she's already dealt with flying monkeys, so gorillas would be nothing.
Right. Well, these are more sentient and talking and with weapons and stuff. They ride horses. Big difference.
Is this Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes or like one of the newer ones?
Let's go with the newer ones.
Okay.
Yeah, because the one without Mark Wahlberg.
You something against Marky Mark?
Hey, Marky Mark's a fine actor in certain things. I just didn't. Honestly, that movie wasn't.
He's a real scumbag.
He just didn't fit in that movie as far as I was concerned.
What sitcom characters would you suddenly want to throw into the Last of Us universe?
Mark Wahlberg from Entourage.
Yes.
Maybe Mark Wahlberg from Transformers.
Ooh.
Mark Wahlberg in The Happening.
Oh, that'd actually be really
Hasn't
nice.
been done before.
Yeah, that's true. You put The Happening Mark Wahlberg in Last of Us. He's just looking at the trees. And he goes, no, it's mushrooms. And he's like,
I'm suddenly imagining Michael Scott in Last of Us and being so lost and so confused.
But so much parkour. So much parkour.
Nice.
Oh goodness.
Can we put any Tom Cruise character ever in there in
We'll
Last
just
of Us?
throw Tom Cruise at a bloater and call it good.
Yeah, I mean he's got to be running. So as long as he's running, that's fine.
Yeah. Plenty to run from.
Pick a movie. He's running in all of them. You know, so
Is he?
all right.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's running in Jerry Maguire.
No, he does. I don't think he runs in Collateral. I think that might be the only one. I'm not sure about that. There's like 2 movies that he doesn't run in.
He doesn't run in Tropic Thunder.
He dances though.
He dances.
He builds up a sweat.
He does not do the running man.
His Fitbit is going off.
That's okay. That's fair.
But yeah, no running.
Yeah. All right. I could keep talking about why I hate Tom Cruise, but we're gonna move on. So
Next week on our show, we have Tom Cruise.
No, that's never gonna happen.
Tim's like Toodles.
No, that's never gonna happen. So anyway, sorry, my brain just completely collapsed on me. All right, so if you're up in the port, I was talking with one of our former guests, and Eric Avare, who you may know from Stargate, and he's been in a whole bunch of different things. Eric is an amazing guy. Yeah, The Mummy. He doesn't like to remember it, but Encino Man. And but if you're up in the Portland, Oregon area, and you want to see Eric Avare come to the Comic-Con that's up there, I'm going to give you an email address. It's info@Fan Expo HQ. So FANEXPO and just send an email to that asking please bring Eric Avare to Portland. And they're trying to get him in there, and he's wanted to go there, and he's got a lot of fans asking him how come he's not going to be there.
Look
in
at
Portland.
Dylan doing it.
This is a really long email. Do I have to transcribe this entire thing?
Probably. Probably best. Yes.
My parts too.
Yes.
Oh yeah, if you want to, yes.
Also, then you can contact Toronto Comic-Con and ask why they haven't invited any of the animated X-Men character or voice actors when they're all Canadian.
Yeah. They're all Canadian. They're all mostly in the Toronto area, but they can't come to the Toronto Comic-Con for some reason. It's the weirdest thing ever. So anyway, but send an email to info@fanexpohq.com asking them to please bring Eric Avare to Portland. So do that if you would. And guys, if you would real quick, remind everybody where they can find out more about some Nobodies.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Honestly, if you just find an old Tamagotchi in your junk drawer or go to your grandparents' smart refrigerator and type in some Nobodies, you'll see literally a plethora of audio formatted things that you can just indulge in. You can literally eat just hours of our voices. We have things.
In there?
Yep.
Type in some Nobodies.
We're on more platforms than Skyrim.
That's impressive.
That actually is true, unfortunately. But no, we do a create your own podventure, which is similar to the old choose your own adventure style. So you listen to episode 1, you choose which episode you want to listen to after that based on the choices that you make in the episode.
And that's very cool, by the way.
Well, thank you very much.
I loved that concept. That was so cool.
Season 2 should be out very, very soon. We're finishing up the script right now, and that's looking great. Like I said, our very first project was called Silicon Angels, and that's the weird IT phone calls from a sex robot shop, which is aggressive men calling in and finding out how to fix these robots because they do some bad stuff. But it's very funny and not as disgusting as you think it is.
No, it's pretty tame actually.
Yeah.
But
and then if you go to our
funny.
YouTube channel, you'll see a bunch of weird improv stuff. We do a show, like Dylan said, called PowerPoint Showdown, where we do PowerPoint karaoke's. 4 comedians do blind presentations based on whatever topic that we choose for the week. We also have No Time to Binge, where we usually watch the very first episode of something and last episode of something and just make up a bunch of junk for the middle and see what's funny.
Nice.
That is a great concept.
And so much more. So much more.
Do you guys, how accurate do you guys tend to be with that?
Not.
No.
Not at all.
Accuracy.
No.
Accuracy is not what they're
It's an
called.
outdated concept. Welcome to 2023.
Yeah, we're really going for giggles within our own group instead of actually trying to do something real.
I don't want real. Real is terrible.
Yeah.
I'm Taylor.
What's up, Jason?
Jason.
Oh.
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah.
Way to show up with 6 minutes left.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take him sometime instead of no time. So
I'll take him
Really?
sometime, then no
Is
time.
that how you really wanted to word that, Timothy?
no, it's not. But you know what? Screw it.
It's not making it better.
Well, last
screw it.
Friday.
I'll screw it sometime, then no
Transition
time.
man has
Transition
arrived.
man. Transition man.
Save us, transition man.
Good old Segway Tom.
Hi, I'm Segway Tom.
I'm tour guide Barbie.
One of the best jokes in Arrested Development, though.
Yes.
Last Friday, our guest was Gareth L. Powell, who is an award-winning and widely lauded author at the forefront of speculative fiction. He has won the British Science Fiction Association Award for Best Novel twice and has been a finalist for the Locus British Fantasy and Sewin Awards. There is no trailer for Gareth.
There is not.
No, there is not. Not this week.
But you can still find that episode of the FSF PopCast on our YouTube channel and your favorite audio podcast providers. And I have been listening to one of his books called Embers of War, and it is phenomenal.
And last week when we mentioned that he was going to be on our Friday episode, Sam from Growing Up Skywalker was very excited to find out that was the same guy who was the author of Ack Ack Macaque. So if you haven't, you guys might want to check that out. It's all about we're talking about monkeys, very big sentient monkey with a massive handgun. So
What was the book title again?
Ack Ack Macaque.
I just want to keep hearing you say it.
I didn't get that at all that last time.
Yes, Jason Was slacking on the trailer, but that was because he was trying not to die from a sinus infection and bronchitis. That
overrated.
Yeah.
Going around, huh?
Oh, it's been brutal. It has been brutal. After the tiny human had a double ear infection, his mother had a case of pneumonia. He ended up with a sinus infection and bronchitis. So, yay. Somehow I'm still standing and the only one who didn't get sick in this house, but I don't know. Moms have no time to be sick, apparently.
You got one of
There
those
you go.
standing desks?
No.
Oh, you're sitting. Okay.
Just still upright.
Oh, gotcha.
All right, but guys, please remember that your subscription to our YouTube channel is a major help. As we said, 1,000 subscribers, and Nick and Tim get to go putting on the Ritz with lightsabers, while Kathleen sits off camera, laughing to the point
And
where I'm
peeing
trying
herself.
not to pee myself. So yes, remember, if nothing else, embarrass our friends. Anyway.
I'm not embarrassed. You're embarrassed.
Only because I just referred to you as my friend.
Zing.
Ouch.
Turned into a roast.
In the words of Michael Kelso, burn.
But anyway, this Friday, our guest was the original Judy, who was lost in space with the rest of the Robinsons. We do have a trailer for this one because he's no longer dying.
Woohoo!
You know, I dated Robin.
Did
Which
not
one?
know that. We've interviewed Robin. Did not know that.
I did. I dated him for a very brief time. It was an interesting childhood, especially because of the theater that I did. Hi, this is Marta Kristen, and you're listening to the FSF podcast.
Danger. And you were so kind and gracious and said, yes, I would love to be on your show. And then we thought, boy, she doesn't know what she's getting into, but we're going to do this anyway.
Okay. I have what, like that cut between I dated Robin and it was an interesting childhood was
It's intriguing and getting people to want to listen to the rest
they
of
were
it.
two different clips that should not
At different times. At different
Mm.
times.
That's exactly how TMZ does it.
Yeah. So, yeah. So,
What
yeah.
were they? Listen to the episode on Friday to find out. Stop giving away the
Right.
spoilers, Nick.
So yeah, this Friday we have Marta Kristen coming to the FSF PopCast. We talked with Marta about her upbringing. She was raised here in Michigan in the Detroit area. And we talked with her about that. We talk about how she got into acting, the roles that almost were, and the one that, of course, had her lost in space. Oh, and of course, and just like the clip said, she dated Robin.
I mean,
You
who
know.
didn't know?
Yeah, apparently.
Robin's been around.
Robin got around. Even Burt Ward, when we interviewed him, he said the same thing. So there's that little tidbit there too. So you guys might want to pay attention to that. But be sure to tune in Friday morning. You can watch that on our YouTube channel. And of course, you can listen to that on your favorite audio podcast provider. And remember, guys, go check out Some Nobodies and all the stuff that they're doing. Zach, Dylan, thank you so much for coming back to the show and hanging out with us. We really enjoyed your guys' company tonight. Thank you.
We'll see you
Anytime.
Sure.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Maybe it won't be 90 episodes in between this time. Maybe.
Possibly. I can't make any promises.
That's up to you guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's up to Tim, really.
Honestly, no. Tim was going back through things and went, "Oh my God, it's been 90 episodes since I've had these guys on. I got to get them." Anyway, yeah.
That's fine.
We'll get you to 1,000.
I really thought it was trivia. So like I've been doing so because last time we were on, we did some trivia. So I've been doing some studying. I've been playing Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader on my DS. Just getting ready for this.
No, I am not. No, I am not.
Turns out just character drop. Character drop?
Character drop, yes.
Love it.
I guess it depends on which fifth grader.
I don't know.
Fifth grader.
So far, all the ones I've come across, I'm smarter and bigger, and they don't like being in the mud puddle.
Look, I just need to find the one kid that's chewing on crayons, and I'll challenge him.
Oh, I'll chew those kids on crayons any day.
I eat crayons for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh goodness.
All right, guys, that's our time. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to Some Nobodies for stopping by, and we'll see you again next week, Monday. Goodbye.
Later, nerds.
Ciao.
Hey.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of the FSF PopCast, we want to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, please contact us by means of Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FSF PopCast, or go to www.fsfpopcast.com and click on the contact link. Thanks again, and hope you enjoyed the episode.